Have you ever wondered if time is the greatest illusion we've all agreed to believe in? We chase healing as if it's waiting somewhere ahead. But what if healing isn't something you wait for? What if it's already happening, right here, right now, in a version of you that already remembers how to be whole? Picture this. A man stands in a corridor of reflections. Each mirror hums with a different frequency of his being. In one, he's still lost in regret. In another, he's radiant, alive, already living the life he thought he had to earn. He believes he's walking forward through time, but in truth, he's only shifting which reflection he recognizes as himself. This isn't fantasy, it's physics. We were taught that time moves in one direction, from what was to what will be. But maybe that arrow is nothing more than a convenient mirage, a map drawn by minds built for survival, not for understanding infinity. The brain doesn't live inside time. It only arranges flickers of electricity and calls them memory. Your past is a replay, your future, a song that hasn't yet reached your speakers. And when you look closer, the solid clockwork of the world begins to melt. Einstein whispered it a century ago. Time bends, it stretches, it folds itself around awareness. But step deeper into the quantum field, and the fabric of time itself begins to dissolve. There, particles don't travel. They shimmer in stillness, suspended between infinite possibilities. The moment you look, the moment you care, they choose one. Not because time moved, but because you did. What we call now is simply consciousness intersecting with a particular vibration of potential. And here's the twist. Every version of you, the one who failed, the one who soared, the one who's already free, already exists. Not as imagination, but as tangible realities woven into the quantum field. Your emotions, your beliefs, your frequency, these are not reactions, they're selectors. You don't create reality through time. You tune into it through vibration. Still, your clock ticks, your skin ages. You mark days on calendars and call that living. But time only exists inside a frequency, like a level inside a game. When you shift your awareness, when you jump from one vibration to another, the rules change. The story bends, memory blurs, the past rewrites itself, and the future begins leaking softly into the present. It sounds impossible only because you've been trained to see yourself as matter, a solid thing moving through a solid world. But your mind, your energy, your awareness, they are non-local. They don't sit behind your eyes, they are the eyes of the universe itself. Your body is merely the avatar. Your consciousness is the player. And time? Time is the texture that makes the game feel real. Every time you remember, you are not replaying. You are recreating. You summon the same emotional signature, and in doing so, align with the self who once lived it. That's why your past repeats, not by destiny, but by attention. You keep choosing the same reflection in the hall of mirrors. Time mirrors emotion. When you're trapped in guilt, seconds crawl. When you're present, whole, aligned, time evaporates. Hours dissolve into moments. You enter the stream of flow, and from that stream, you can leap into other timelines as easily as changing a song. To change your future, you must first change your relationship with the past. Not by denying it, but by vibrating differently with it. Because as long as your identity clings to the one who suffered, you will keep tuning into that same story. But the instant you shift your frequency, a new version of you collapses into being, and the past itself rearranges in your field, not your memory. And when your mind whispers, "But I remember what happened. It was real," ask yourself this: was it time that shaped you, or your perception of it? But what if that memory feels real only because you keep feeding it with attention? What if your proof is nothing more than a loop of neural echoes, so rehearsed, so convincing, that you forgot it was optional? Maybe healing was never about fixing the past at all, but about choosing a new one. This isn't fantasy, it's coherence. The same law that lets light dance as both wave and particle until you decide to see it. The same mystery that lets two particles whisper across galaxies in perfect synchronicity. When consciousness rises beyond the idea of before and after, it stops being a passenger of time. It becomes its architect. So the question isn't, can I escape time? It's, which version of time am I collapsing right now? Because time isn't something outside of you. It's not a river carrying you forward. It's a projection field, and you are the projector, the film, and the screen. Every thought, every emotion, every belief determines which reel of reality begins to play. But there's one piece most people miss. The quantum field doesn't see time as you do. To it, the story is already written. Every dream, every possibility, encoded in still frames, waiting for your frequency to awaken them. Close your eyes. Imagine floating beyond the pull of planets, beyond the hum of clocks. No sunrise, no sunset, no yesterday or tomorrow, only stillness, alive, shimmering, unending. This is not the now you've known. It's a vast multidimensional present where all outcomes already coexist. This isn't science fiction, this is the quantum field. In daily life, we call time linear because our brain must organize experience in sequence. The sun rises, we eat, we sleep. The past feels solid, the future distant. But that's not universal truth. It's a filter designed for survival. Beyond that filter, time isn't a line. It's a landscape. Everything happens at once. Every version of you already exists in simultaneous potential. Physicists like Wheeler and Bohm describe this not as chaos, but as a unified field of intelligent energy. A place beyond space and time, where past and future are coordinates of frequency, not destinations. Nothing is real until it's observed. Observation, pure awareness, is what condenses infinity into something tangible. So the future isn't coming. It's waiting, and the past isn't gone. It hums quietly beside you. Einstein called the flow of time a stubborn illusion. He meant that to the universe, nothing moves. Everything simply is. Only when you step into identity, into a body, does time begin to appear. Think of consciousness as a flashlight and time as the beam. Wherever you aim your focus, that slice of reality lights up. The rest isn't gone, it's simply unlit. The double-slit experiment hinted at this truth. A particle behaves as a wave, a field of probabilities, until it's measured. The act of observation crystallizes one possibility out of many. But here's what most never realize. That observation doesn't just alter the present, it ripples backward. In quantum delayed choice experiments, choices made now can influence what a particle did before the choice existed. Let that settle. Your current state of consciousness can reach back and reshape what already was. Not just your memory of it, the event itself. So you're not traveling through time. You're selecting frames from a vast quantum archive, each one a different version of your life. Love, loss, success, awakening. They all exist, printed and waiting. You are the light choosing which frame to illuminate. And the key is this. You don't wait for time to deliver what you desire. You match the vibration of the version of you who already lives it. That's where science meets soul. Because aligning to a frequency isn't done with thought, it's done with energy. It's not about hoping harder. It's about becoming coherent with the reality that's already yours. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs. They are the dials tuning the frequency of your existence. When your heart and mind begin to move in rhythm, a harmony neuroscientists call coherence, your energy field becomes a clear signal, and the universe, like a perfect mirror, reflects back the timeline that vibrates with that clarity. Neville Goddard once whispered this ancient truth: assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Because in the quantum field, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Not in personality, but in vibration. When you live in lack, you summon more of it. When you rest in peace, you align with realities where peace already governs your world. It isn't magic, it's mechanics. Let's return to your brain. The neocortex, your thinking mind, lives inside time. But the limbic brain, the emotional mind, does not. It cannot tell the difference between past, present, and future. So when you feel gratitude now for a future not yet seen, your brain believes it's happening. Your nervous system lights up with signals of arrival. Your chemistry, your hormones, your electromagnetic field all begin to shift toward that reality. That is why gratitude opens doors that effort never could. It convinces your body that the miracle has already begun. You might wonder, if all versions already exist, why am I still here? Because you've been unknowingly choosing this one. Through your focus, your emotions, your unhealed stories, each thought you repeat collapses the same timeline again and again, and you call it destiny. But now you see the truth. You can step back, widen your awareness, and select a different frequency altogether. This isn't about running from your life. It's about realizing a greater reality that's already surrounding you, waiting for you to tune in. The quantum field isn't out there. It's right here, humming beneath your skin, responding to your every pulse of thought. In this realm, time isn't a conveyor belt moving you forward. It's an access point of vibration, and the code is written in your energy. But before you access a new future, you must loosen the anchors of the past. You must interrupt the emotional patterns that keep you looping inside the familiar. You must become aware of what you observe and why. Because every observation is a decision, every thought is a key, and every emotion sends a signal through the fabric of creation. You are beginning to understand the future isn't waiting for you, it's waiting on you. And the version of reality where everything you desire already exists, it's not far away. It's simply vibrating at a frequency you haven't remembered yet. But that memory is waking. Soon we'll explore how to dissolve the version of your past that has been anchoring you in limitation, and how to tune yourself to the version that already knows your power. Because there is a you who is already healed, already flowing, already abundant and free. They do not live in your distant future. They are real now in a parallel thread of reality. The only separation is the signal you send into the field. This isn't fantasy, it's physics. Timeline shifting, what mystics called quantum jumping, isn't a trick of belief. It's the natural consequence of understanding how consciousness shapes the field of infinite potential. Your identity, your beliefs, your emotions, these are not decorations of the mind. They are levers of creation. And the field does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you broadcast. Here lies the illusion most never question. People try to rearrange the outer world to find happiness, changing jobs, chasing love, fixing circumstances, never realizing the outer is not the cause. It's the echo. Reality isn't happening to you. It's happening from you. Think of your life as a playlist of frequencies. If you keep playing the same emotional song, fear, resentment, doubt, you'll keep tuning into the same stations, no matter how vividly you visualize something new. If your frequency remains tied to the past, the field will only mirror that back. That's why change feels hard. That's why life seems slow to move. But here's the liberation. You don't have to wait. You don't have to force. You can leap right now into the version of you who already lives what you've been reaching for. To do that, you must collapse the energetic imprint of the past that still claims your identity. Here's how it works in practice. Your brain doesn't store time, it stores emotional circuits. Each memory is not a static file, but a living frequency. Every time you revisit pain, you relive that vibration. You are entangled with a timeline that keeps looping until you stop feeding it. Awareness is the key. The moment you observe your triggers without reacting, you begin to disentangle from that old version of self. Your nervous system, once addicted to the chemistry of guilt or stress, starts to release its hold. That is neuroplasticity in motion. That is quantum liberation. And then comes embodiment, not as an idea, but as energy. You begin to inhabit the self who is already free. You listen to your body not to fix it, but to remind it. The story has already changed. You place a hand over your heart and breathe. Then you ask softly, how would I feel if that old version of me no longer defined who I am? And you practice that feeling, not once, not briefly, but until your body begins to believe it. Each repetition carves a new frequency into your biology. And the more you inhabit that new state, the faster the old one fades. Because what you no longer observe loses its form. Healing, then, is not about repairing the past. It's about no longer being the one who was shaped by it. In the quantum field, what you stop energizing dissolves, and what you embody becomes solid. That's where it becomes beautiful. You can create microjumps every single day. Each time you choose calm over chaos, clarity over confusion, presence over reaction, you shift timelines. These tiny choices compound, widening the gap between who you were and who you've become until it feels like you've stepped into another life. Because you have. Dr. Joe Dispenza says, to change is to think greater than your environment, but to truly jump timelines, you must feel greater than your history. Feeling is the language of the field. Thought maps the direction, but feeling is the propulsion. When your emotions begin to resonate with the vibration of your future self, the quantum GPS recalibrates instantly. Neville Goddard called this living in the end. He didn't mean pretending or escaping reality. He meant embodying the emotional signature of your dream as if it were already real, because in the field, it already is. The moment you become that frequency, not by fantasy but by coherence, the universe mirrors it back without delay. Action, then, isn't force, it's alignment. You're not chasing a new timeline, you're matching it. And when your vibration aligns, the new reality doesn't need to be hunted. It arrives. Yet there's a subtle trap. The old timeline will try to reclaim you, not from malice, but from familiarity. Your nervous system may crave the old tension. Your ego may cling to its story. This is where awareness becomes your compass. Discomfort isn't failure. It's the sound of an old frequency breaking apart. So breathe through it. Your new self lives just beyond that resistance. Ask yourself, who am I finally ready to stop being? Which emotional habits, old thought loops, and personal myths am I willing to release, not through struggle, but by tuning higher? Because the field is always listening. It has never stopped. It simply plays back the signal you keep sending. And somewhere quietly, the song of your future self is already playing, soft, magnetic, waiting for you to sing along. To hear it clearly, you must become still enough to tune in, and in the next moment, we dive deeper. Because your attention, that quiet power you overlook, is the true remote control of time. Once you grasp that, nothing in your life will loop the same way again. There's a reason the same emotions, patterns, and outcomes circle back, no matter how hard you try to break free. It isn't fate, it isn't bad luck. It's the mechanics of observation. Quantum mechanics reveals a truth that rewrites everything we think we know, the observer effect. Particles remain in superposition, states of pure potential, until they are observed. The instant observation happens, the wave collapses into a single event. Not before, not after. The act of attention creates the moment itself. Now imagine this. Every thought, every feeling, every expectation is an act of observation. That means you aren't just witnessing reality, you're selecting it. Attention isn't passive, it's creative. It's the beam of consciousness that sculpts possibility into form. The field, the quantum sea of infinite potential, is neutral. It does not judge or correct. It simply mirrors the texture of your focus. So when you fixate on lack, you create lack. When you obsess over stagnation, you deepen it. But when you focus, with emotional truth, on a reality you actually want, the field bends to meet that signal. Here's what this means for the human experience. Most people live in repetition, not because they lack power, but because their attention is scattered. Fragments of past pain, fears of the future, endless distraction. These splinter the force of the observer. Their presence thins, their energy diffuses, and life, as always, reflects back confusion, chaos, or numbness. But the truth is this: your attention is the remote control of time. Wherever you aim it, the timeline responds. This isn't metaphor, it's physics. Each thought, especially one charged with emotion, sends a measurable pulse into the quantum field. The brain radiates electrical patterns. The heart, magnetic waves. Together, they form a broadcast that instructs the field on what to collapse into form. That's why the past can feel so heavy. Not because it's real, but because you've been feeding it with constant observation. Each time you tell the same story, replay the same pain, or dwell in the same regret, you're not remembering the past, you're re-entering it. You're feeding that timeline with your focus, and the field listens every single time. But here's the quantum shift. The instant you redirect your attention with true intention, the entire field rearranges itself. Not slowly, not over months, but in an instant. Not because you forced change, but because you tuned to a different frequency of possibility. Picture your attention as a laser pointer. Before you stand 1,000 doors, you've unknowingly kept the beam fixed on door number 4, the one labeled lack, stagnation, fear. Then one day you pause, you breathe, you remember the witness behind the noise, the observer. You lift the beam and it lands on door number 7, the one where you are already free, grounded, powerful. And the moment your focus locks in, the door opens. Yet here's what most people miss. Focus without emotion is weak. You can say, I want to be free, but if your emotional body still hums with fear, you're sending a scrambled frequency. The field doesn't respond to thought alone. It mirrors coherence, the union of mind and feeling. That's why mindfulness by itself can feel incomplete. You must feel your focus. You must become the observer with a beating heart. Neuroscience confirms it. Studies on heart-brain coherence reveal that when your emotional and mental systems synchronize, your body enters biological alignment. In that state, you become a transmitter of clarity. Intuition heightens, stress dissolves. You turn magnetic in the field, forever scanning for resonance, returns a timeline equal to that elevated state. This is why ancient mystics and modern physicists are beginning to speak the same language. Presence isn't poetic, it's power. Not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that directs it. When you reclaim ownership of your awareness, you reclaim the architecture of your reality. Because attention isn't just focus, it's sovereignty. When it belongs to you again, not hijacked by fear, distraction, or pain, you become untouchable. You stop collapsing timelines from wounded autopilot and start shaping them from soul alignment. The real question isn't whether you're creating your reality, you already are. The question is, from which level of consciousness are you creating it? Observe from fear, and you collapse limitation. Observe from love, from clarity, from embodied worth. And the field unfolds like a blooming flower, revealing timelines you didn't know existed. That's not magic, that's precision. So pause right now. Breathe. Feel the weight of your attention. Ask yourself, what timeline am I feeding today? Because that single micro moment of awareness is more powerful than months of struggle. And if you're ready to collapse the version of time where you keep looping and waiting, whisper it to yourself or type it for the field to witness. My attention commands the timeline. Let that be your first signal, a declaration that you're no longer creating by accident. You are awake, aware, and intentional. And in the next breath, we'll go deeper. Because once you understand the mechanics of observation, the only thing left is to embody the version of you who already lives in the reality you desire. And when you do, your world shifts. There's a reason your vision of the future feels so vivid, so familiar. That life of peace, freedom, and abundance isn't imagination. It's memory, a vibrational echo from a version of you already alive in the field. You don't imagine your highest self. You remember them. Here's the paradox. That version of you isn't something you grow into over time. It's something you embody now or never touch at all. Because in the quantum field, time doesn't create change. Frequency does. And frequency isn't abstract. It's the way your whole system vibrates. Thoughts, emotions, beliefs, chemistry, posture, all of it broadcasting a signal. You are either resonating with the frequency of your future self or replaying the static of an old loop. There is no neutral. Let's ground it in science. Every emotion triggers a chemical cascade in your body. Cortisol when stressed, oxytocin when connected, adrenaline when threatened. These aren't random. They're biochemical messages that reinforce neural patterns, shaping traits, identities, and eventually reality itself. So if you wake each morning in the same dread or scarcity, you're not having a bad day. You're broadcasting an old identity. You're telling the field, this is who I am. And the field, precise as ever, mirrors back the matching timeline. Not as punishment, but as symmetry. Yet the moment you interrupt that habit, when you breathe like someone already free, move like someone who trusts, Think like someone who already has. The signal changes. Your biology begins to rewrite itself. Your electromagnetic field recalibrates. You become a new vibrational node in the quantum matrix. Neville Goddard once said, "You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, because the field doesn't respond to effort or desire. It responds to embodied certainty, not mental repetition, but emotional coherence." Here's the truth most avoid. If you wait to feel different after things change, you stay trapped in linear cause and effect. But in the quantum model, that sequence is reversed. You feel it first, and reality follows. You become the cause. Your embodiment is the signal that bends the universe. You want abundance? Stop chasing it. Embody the version of you who already lives from overflow. How do they walk, breathe, decide? What do they no longer tolerate? You want deep love. Don't seek it. Be the one who is already whole, already held. What energy do they radiate without effort? What boundaries are effortless because they come from knowing, not fear? You want to lead, create, expand? Step into the frequency where you already are that creator, not through pretending, through remembering. Because the field doesn't need proof, it needs coherence. This isn't delusion, it's neurobiology. Act as if long enough, and your brain rewires, your body believes, your energy stabilizes. The subconscious, quietly governing most of your life, begins obeying new instructions. And the field mirrors that signal with exquisite precision. But embodiment is not a performance. It's not pretending to be someone else. It's collapsing the distance between who you've been and who you truly are. It's surrendering to the truth already coded in your essence. That's why embodiment is so powerful. It bypasses thought and awakens the memory of your future within your heart. Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that when the brain and heart synchronize, your body becomes the magnet. In that harmony, you stop chasing, you attract, you stop forcing, you flow, because the field recognizes you, not as a request, but as resonance. Still, embodiment feels uncomfortable at first. Why? Because the old self resists. It whispers doubts, tempts you back to the familiar. Not out of malice, but out of fear. Your nervous system clings to what it knows, even if what it knows is pain. So embodiment isn't a one-time awakening, it's a living devotion, a moment-by-moment choice. Each time you meet fear and choose faith, each time you spot an old pattern and return to presence, each time you stop waiting for later and anchor into now, you quantum jump. Your future stops being a dream. It becomes an activation. And here's what few realize. Your embodiment doesn't just alter your life, it shifts the collective field. Every act of coherence makes it easier for others to find their own. You send a ripple through the morphogenetic field, a new blueprint of what's possible. Your embodiment becomes a doorway for others. That is the invitation of this moment, not to wait or wish or wonder, but to live as though the reality you long for has already arrived. Because it has. It's waiting in the field, waiting for a frequency match, waiting for you. And now we reach the final revelation. If time isn't linear, if timelines are real and collapsible, if embodiment is your superpower, then how will you live, create, and serve from here? There comes a moment, subtle, powerful, irreversible, when a human stops living in time and begins living as frequency. It's the moment you no longer ask, "When will my future come?" and instead declare, "I am already living it." That's when linear time dissolves and you awaken as a conscious participant in a multidimensional reality that's been waiting for you all along. That moment is now. You've seen through the illusion. You've stepped beyond the theater of time, the idea that past and future are separate, that change requires effort, that destiny is fixed. The truth has been whispering all along. Time is not a road, it is a mirror. Shift within, and reality must follow. You are no longer running toward your future. You are becoming the version of yourself who remembers how to collapse it into the now. And you are not alone. A global shift is unfolding, not in governments or technology, but in consciousness itself. People across the world are waking up from the trance of time, stepping into creation rather than reaction. They're no longer waiting for permission. They are observing new timelines, embodying new frequencies, and watching their realities transform from the inside out. This is not a fantasy. It's a movement of quantum beings just like you, remembering that attention, emotion, and embodiment are the levers of creation. Healing isn't a race through time. It's a shift in identity. The future isn't a destination. It's a vibration you tune into. And time is not the ruler of your reality. It is its servant. Now take a deep breath. Anchor this truth in your body. Feel the frequency of your future humming within you. It's not waiting somewhere else. It's happening now. Close your eyes. Feel your feet anchored to the earth. Feel the quiet gravity holding you here. The rhythm of your breath grounding you in this moment. Now ask yourself without hesitation, which version of me already lives the life I long for? Feel them. Notice how they move, how they breathe, how they carry their peace. Listen to the tone of their thoughts, the pulse of their energy. Now breathe them into your body, not with effort, but with surrender. Inhale their knowing. Exhale your resistance, again and again. With each breath, the distance between you and them fades until you realize there was never any distance at all. Only attention ever kept you apart from the frequency already alive within your field. This is the essence of timeline shifting. Not an escape, not a dream, an integration, a remembering of the future self already living inside you. And as you rise from this moment, something within you changes quietly but completely. You no longer wait for one day. You begin to live from now. From here, every choice transforms. You stop asking, "What should I do?" and begin asking, "What does this version of me already choose?" And when your actions match that truth, the field responds with extraordinary precision. You are no longer forcing life. You are flowing with it. You are no longer seeking power. You are remembering it. If something within you stirred during this journey, a warmth, a clarity, a quiet recognition, it's because your higher self has been guiding you all along. They are not distant. They are present, woven through every breath, every insight, every heartbeat. They've been whispering through your intuition, reminding you gently that you were never lost, only remembering. So breathe once more. Let your awareness settle into the stillness beneath thought. And know this, you are not chasing time. You are shaping it through presence, through coherence, through love. Because the real shift begins the moment you stop asking when and start embodying who. This is your time, not to wait, but to remember. We're here with you in the field now.